Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here I make videos all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 4. And today we're going to be cooking for Shabbat. Okay, so today is Thursday, not Friday, so it's a little bit different of a Shabbat prep kind of a video, but we invited some friends over for a meal this weekend. They've got different family members in town, and basically there's 12 people coming to lunch with us on Shabbat. So I am going to start getting ready today because I'm also having a siyum, a celebration of some Torah learning that I have done also on Shabbat later in the day. So I have some prep work to do for that as well. So basically, yeah, all the things. The next couple of days are going to be pretty busy. And I also, for some reason, thought that I was gonna have like an extra day this week. I don't know. And I'm not really sure where that came from, but I don't. So I gotta get to it today. So in addition to all of the cooking and things, I also have to go to the grocery store, but I can't do that until all of the kids wake up. Right now I've got 2 out of 4 awake. So we'll see what time that happens. In the meantime, I'll try to do what I can before then. Okay, a couple things I wanted to note before we dive into the video today though. First of all is thank you so much to Noom for sponsoring today's video, but more on that later. I wanted to mention about the hand washing this morning. So when I woke up, I washed my hands once on each hand, 3 times each for a total of 6 times. That is the ritual hand washing that we do every morning, and I will link to a video below in the description where I explain that a little bit more. And then I washed my hands again before I ate bread in my breakfast sandwich. But I did that one a little bit differently. I did that 3 times on one hand and then 3 times on the other. So that's the way that we wash our hands when we eat bread. And we do that every time we eat bread. Same blessing, just different way of washing our hands. There's a lot of hand washing throughout our day and a lot of blessings, and I should probably do a video on all of that at some point. But for now, that is what I will say on that topic. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that I did not daven in the video. I did not say my prayers in the video like I normally do, but I did do them. I did my davening while I was holding baby Firefly. I was just sort of not thinking about filming at that point, but I was happy to include my breakfast this morning. We are getting used to this whole new routine with baby thing. We're getting there. The fact that I could sit down and eat breakfast this morning and post a video and film a video already, and it's only 8:48 a.m. means we are doing pretty good with life. Okay, let's see how the rest of the day goes. Okay, let's get to it. Oh gosh, but I guess I should tell you what we're going to do today. I made a list. Okay. I want to make a lot of things for this weekend. I want to make a bunch of desserts for the Siyum, but that will be mostly tomorrow. Today, I have a bunch of side dishes and things and to prep the dessert for our Shabbat lunch. So I wanted to make some mini carrot muffins that would be a side dish for our Shabbat lunch. And my daughter requested a potato kugel, so I want to make that, and an apple kugel per request of my son, and a broccoli kugel because, hey, we've got frozen broccoli and I need another side dish. And I'm gonna prep some chocolate chip cookie dough, which y'all have been asking about, so I will make that chocolate chip cookie dough here in today's video. And if we've got time, I'm gonna make some little mini cup desserts similar to what I did in a recent video, but these ones are going to be s'mores, so that should be fun. Okay, so we'll do what I can now while the kids are still sleeping, some of them at least, and then we'll go to the grocery store and get back to it with more. Okay, now we're going to go get to the day. Okay, so all of my kids woke up pretty much as soon as I finished filming that last clip. So they're eating some breakfast right now. Thank you to my oldest who made scrambled eggs and toast for everybody while I was checking emails on my computer. Welcome. So now they're just gonna finish up their breakfast really quickly and then we will head out to the store. And while that's happening, I can get a load of laundry started and get myself ready to go out to the store. Whew, I would have preferred to get started some of the cooking before going to the grocery store. Well, I would have preferred to have the grocery shopping done already, but I didn't. But anyways, but it almost, now that I'm thinking about it more, it probably makes sense to just go ahead and have all my ingredients ready. So that way I'm not like taking a break and I can be preparing the next dish while one is cooking in the oven or whatever. So I think that probably is the better way to do it. I guess I just wanted to go to the grocery store later, probably because I wanted to get sushi. That's okay. Anyways, so that is what is happening now, and we'll go to the grocery store and then we'll get to cooking. Okay, so we just left the grocery store, the absolute funniest thing. We're in the grocery store, we finished the produce section and we zip around to the kosher aisle to look for a couple things there. And there is my husband, Mr. Firefly, is sitting there in the kosher aisle grocery shopping. So I was like, dude, you could have told me you were coming to save me a trip down here. And he's like, well, I didn't know I was gonna be here. So anyways, we ended up grocery shopping as a family, which was super cute. And he is now headed home in his car with 2 kids, and I've got 2 kids with me. So oddly, I'm coming home with a lot more food and a lot less kids. What? 1 kid and 1 baby? 1 kid and 1 baby. So, okay. So anyways, we're gonna go home, unload groceries, and just get to it. So let's go. Okay, we are back from the grocery store. We've got some leftovers out here, and I also have some french fries and corn dogs in the oven because that's what the kids picked out at the grocery store. Kind of a treat day, because why not? Plus, I'm super busy, so a meal that I can just throw in the oven real quick is fantastic for today. Because It is already almost 12:30 and I have not done anything yet as far as cooking or any of that prep list that I had talked about. So the good news is I found everything that I needed at the grocery store, including Mr. Firefly. That was just so much fun. And now we're home and I can get started. So what I'm going to do is get started on the carrot muffins. I don't think that I've ever shared the recipe that I use for carrot muffins, so I will go ahead and share that with you guys right now. Let's go do it. Okay, ingredients you will need is some kind of a milk or milk alternative, an oil, I'm using avocado oil, baking powder, baking soda, raisins, 3 eggs, gluten-free flour, I'm using the King Arthur 1-for-1 gluten-free flour blend, apple cider vinegar, shredded carrots, cinnamon, and nutmeg, and a little bit of salt. And now for the process. You're going to start by mixing all of your dry ingredients together, which is 1.5 cups of the gluten-free flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then whisk all of that together and then start on your wet ingredients. In a separate bowl, I am mixing together 1/4 cup of oil, my 3 eggs, half a cup of my dairy-free milk alternative, and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Now, I actually forgot to do the apple cider vinegar at this point, but I do add it in later. Next, just add those wet ingredients to your dry ingredients. Mix that until it is well blended. Here I'm adding in my apple cider vinegar that I forgot to add earlier. No worries, it wasn't too late to add it in. So anyways, get that all mixed up, and then you're going to add in your half a cup of raisins and 2 cups of shredded carrots. Then mix all of that together until that is well blended, and then your batter is ready. So like I said, I'm doing this in a mini muffin tin. So I'm using a cookie scoop to help with the mess there. And I'm just putting in kind of like 1 pretty decent size cookie scoop full of batter into each of these little muffin compartments. And then I will put that into the oven, which was preheated to 350. And I'm putting this in for 18 minutes. Okay, the first batch of carrot muffins is in the oven. I will need to do one more like partial batch, but either way, I've got totally enough. The one thing that I will say is using the pre-shredded carrots, I will probably never do again. Normally I shred those carrots myself and they come out in these nice thin, really movable pieces. These shredded carrots were like really stiff and like stick-like. Not a good fit to get into those little bitty muffin pans. I ended up going through with a pair of scissors and like cutting them so that they would squish down and fit in the little bitty mini muffin tins. But it worked out. So anyways, those are in the oven right now and I'll put another batch in here in a minute. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started on our next dish. Now for the next dish, it is the apple kugel, which I'm just gonna zoom through with you guys real quick because I have made that plenty of times on this channel before, and I will link to a recipe in the description box below. Video with the recipe, etc. for the apple kugel, which really is an apple crisp. Who are we kidding here? Let's do it. Before we dive into that apple kugel, I just wanted to show you what the carrot mini muffins look like once they come out of the oven. It's a perfect little bite size for a side dish. Okay, and on to the apple kugel. I've got a bunch of red apples that I have chopped up into little pieces, and then I'm adding some cinnamon and a 1/4 cup of just plain sugar. I'm going to mix all of that together and then move that into my baking dish. However many apples you use just kind of depends on what size of a baking dish that you use. So once I get that in there, I'm just kind of flattening it out on the top so that it's kind of even. Then I can set that aside and work on my crumble topping. For the topping, I am using 3/4 cup of gluten-free flour, a generous sprinkling of cinnamon, 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of Smart Balance, you could use butter, 3/4 cup of oats. Using a spoon, I'm just mixing that together the best that I can before I dive in with my hand to finish it off. And then I'll bring back over my sugared apples and I'll just use my hands there to sprinkle and spread that on top of the apples. While I do sprinkle it evenly, I don't pat it down or anything because I like that kind of more textured feel on the top of my apple kugel. Okay, since that's gonna be in the oven for about an hour, I've got a little break, so I wanna talk to you about today's sponsor, Noom. All right, so as you guys know, I've been trying to get healthy, and part of that is losing weight. So I was superbly excited when Noom reached out to me and wanted to sponsor a video. Now, before I would agree to work with Noom, I tried it out myself to make sure that I actually liked it, and y'all, I absolutely love it. I had hit this plateau with the baby weight where I just kind of like lost the baby weight and then just stopped. I was like right where I was before. And I really wanted to keep going because I know that where I'm at isn't where I want to be. So since I've started using Noom, I've already lost 5 pounds. Very, very excited about that, to see the progress already in just the past month. Noom is different from anything else that I've ever used before. Noom helps you learn how your mind works and the why behind the decisions that you make. Learning, not dieting, is what is going to lead to real lasting change, and I knew that I needed to learn some new ways to look at food. Noom uses actual human coaches as well as psychology and science to help people take control of their health. Noom uses proven psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy techniques to arm you with the wisdom and guidance you need to practice making more thoughtful choices so that you can have lasting change. Noom helps to create healthy habits that make you feel better physically and mentally. Noom is helpful, enjoyable, and easy to use to meet your personal goals. What I love best about Noom is the food tracker. Not only does it count my calories, but it also goes through and places my food into 3 different groups. I can have any food that I want with Noom in moderation, and I absolutely love that. For me, this really helps foster a very healthy relationship with my food. This also helps me learn how to make better decisions with my food, like going with skim milk instead of whole milk or whole wheat bread instead of white bread. All these tiny little changes that can add up to really big difference for me. Since I started using Noom, I've noticed a big boost in my energy as well, and I have significantly cut down on my sugar intake, which is fantastic. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and Noom has really helped me get there. Click on the link that I've placed in the pinned comment or the description box below, or just type in noom.com/jar-of-fireflies to take your free evaluation today. That is noom.com/JAROFFIREFLIES.com. And speaking of a little bit of sugar in moderation, let's go work on that chocolate chip cookie dough to bake up for Shabbat desserts. Before we dive into those cookies, here is what the apple Kugel/apple crisp looks like once I pull it out of the oven. All right, and on to cookies. We will need gluten-free flour, baking soda, salt, butter, or as I use, Smart Balance for a vegan replacement, sugar, brown sugar, vanilla extract, 2 eggs, and chocolate chips. In a medium-sized bowl, I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of my gluten-free flour, as well as 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix that together with a spoon and then just set that bowl aside. Now in the bowl to my KitchenAid mixer, I'm going to add 1 cup of my softened Smart Balance, as well as 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I will mix that together until that is well blended. And then I will add in my 2 eggs, blending again. Once things look pretty well mixed, I will take a spatula, a rubber spatula, and go through the sides and the blender blade itself, scraping everything and then giving that another mix to make sure that everything is well blended. With everything now being well blended, I can grab my dry ingredients, and just a few scoops at a time, I'm going to start mixing that in with the wet ingredients. I'm doing this slowly, again, just a few scoops at a time, and blending completely between each addition of ingredients until I have gotten all of my dry ingredients mixed in with my wet ingredients. With everything looking well blended, I'm going to take that spatula and again scrape all of the sides and the blade of my mixer, and then mix again just to make sure that everything is mixed very evenly. So now it's time for the chocolate chips. I like to use this Geffen brand because it is dairy-free, and I'm just going to add the entire bag in and then mix that up. You could add other mix-ins as well. I've done butterscotch chips, you could do peanut butter chips, sprinkles, lots of things work to make this a really versatile cookie recipe. All right, so now I'm just using my cookie scoop to make little piles of cookie dough, and these I will chill overnight in the refrigerator, and then I will bake them up tomorrow. Chilling the dough overnight is a really important step to this cookie recipe. You can also bake the cookie dough and store it in your freezer as well. And so that is what I do with the chocolate chip cookies. That dough will go into the refrigerator where it will chill overnight, and then I will pull it out when I'm ready. Just place a few on a cookie tray at a time, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 at a time on a cookie tray. And I'll put that in the oven on 350 for about 11 minutes. And then I have chocolate chip cookies. Okay, now let's dive into one more savory dish, broccoli kugel. This recipe is so simple, and it's always a big hit when I make it. So I start with a bag of frozen broccoli, and then after I thaw the broccoli, I start to chop that up into smaller pieces, and then I can set that aside. I could have just left it on the cutting board, but I poured it into this bowl, but either way, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm gonna grab a separate bowl to mix some more ingredients in. So I'm adding 4 whole eggs, 1 cup of mayonnaise, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to mix that all together until it's very well blended. And then I will add that on top of my pieces of broccoli. And then I'm stirring that together, and then I can pour that into a baking pan that I've already sprayed a little bit of cooking oil in. And then that is ready to go into the oven. Okay, so the broccoli kugel is in there on 375 for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then I'm done with the oven, so that's pretty fantastic. Here is what the broccoli kugel looks like when it is finished, all sizzling out of the oven. The last thing that I want to do today is something that I've basically just sort of made up. Kind of like I saw a picture on Instagram and I was like, I could do that. So we'll see if I actually can or not. But it's another one of those little cup desserts. I'm going to be using these 3-ounce cups. They're very tall, little 3-ounce shooter cups. And I will be making a little s'mores dessert. So let's go see if this works. Okay, these are the 3-ounce shooter cups that I was telling y'all about. So I've got a stack of those, and then I'm going to be needing some chocolate chips, some marshmallow cream, and some graham crackers. I'm using this brand in particular because it is dairy-free and gluten-free, and then some Rich's Whip. Okay, let's get to cooking. So I am using the double boiler method so that I can melt my chocolate chips. I am using the entire bag of chocolate chips yet again. Once those are totally melted, I am ready for my Rich's Whip, and I am pouring in the entire container of Rich's Whip. I am mixing that together until it is completely blended. I pulled that off the stove so it could cool a little bit, but not completely, and I added 1 package of the graham crackers into my blender and blended that up so that I could get some ultra-fine graham cracker crumbs. And there are all of my layers ready to go. So I spread out all of my cups and added a spoonful of the graham cracker crumbs to each of my little cups. I'm just doing a thin layer at the bottom, and then using a funnel so that I don't get things all over the sides, I am adding in a few scoops of my mousse, that chocolate mousse that we just made on the stove. Though it's still warm now and very gooey, once this goes into the refrigerator, that chocolate mousse will stiffen up and be more like a chocolate pot or a chocolate thick pudding. For the next layer, I'm adding a spoonful of the marshmallow cream. So I think the way to do this is actually with a piping bag and just put it in like icing. However, I don't have any piping bags right now. I am completely out. I thought I had some and I went through my box of cake decorating stuff to try to find one, and I'm totally out. I have nothing. So that is unfortunate. But the spoons are working, and that's just what it's gonna be for this time. So, well, let's keep going and see what happens. After getting the marshmallow cream in with the least amount of mess that I possibly could, I added another spoonful of the graham cracker crumbs, gave it a little shake to even it out, and then I started adding on some more of the chocolate mousse. I'm filling this pretty much all the way to the top of each of my little containers, and then I'm adding on 1 more scoop of the marshmallow cream to the top of each one. because of the warmth of the chocolate mousse, it ended up kind of melting the marshmallow just a little bit, but that's totally okay and ended up working out just fine. Now to finish it off, I had some leftover of my graham cracker crumbs, so I sprinkled a little bit of that on top of each of my little parfait cups. Okay, I think those turned out super cute. I mean, not exactly how I thought they'd turn out, but I am super stoked and happy with that. It's a little dirty.
Why are you not making?
Because I didn't have enough ganache for that one.
Do I have it?
No.
Why?
I'm gonna use it for my test taster.
I have to test taster.
Maybe there'll be plenty to test taste, but for now I need to finish filming, so can y'all skedoodle for just a second? Thank you. So I had originally thought to top it off with like a little mini s'more on top, but I'm just not sure how I'm gonna be able to cut those particular graham crackers that I have. So I just did a little scoop of the marshmallow floof and some little extra graham cracker crumbs. So I will save the other graham cracker crumbs for next time that I do this, and I'm pretty sure there will be a next time because these are really fun and they were really not that difficult to make. Okay, and with that, I am feeling pretty beat. My husband is now starting to take over the kitchen so that he can do his cooking for Shabbat, and I think that potato kugel is just gonna have to wait till tomorrow, and that is okay. I will link to a video in the description box below that goes through the potato kugel if you are interested and you haven't seen that one yet, but I've made that so many times in videos before, you've probably seen it already. Drop me a note in the comments down below and let me know which dish I prepared today that you would most like to try. I would absolutely love to hear it. And while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a like, hit that thumbs up, and please subscribe and hit that bell. I would absolutely love to see you here again. Last but not least, don't forget to check out in the pinned comment and the description box below. You can click the links that I have left for you there, or go to noom.com/jar-of-fireflies. That is noom.com/JAROFFIREFLIES.com to take your free evaluation. As you can hear in the background, baby Firefly beckons, so definitely calling this video a close now. Thank you all so much for being here as always. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of... Okay, maybe... Today is Thursday and we're going to be cooking for Shabbat. Leave you. Oh, that is loud. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay. I'm a mess. I'm gonna be a mess. Let's not paint that with watercolors because it's glossy and they won't stick.
It's fake.
That's okay. All right, I gotta film. O-F-F. How do I spell that? Okay. To take your... That's terrible. Now I gotta do it again because if I sound like that...
No, that part.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, then let me finish real quick. Give me just a second.